there's a Fourth Reich coming. The Fourth Reich is actually like Adolf Hitler has something to do with the Illuminati.
Hey guys, this is Elijah Vargas from the Gold Soul Podcast. Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Srivatsan. I'm a Bartlett High School graduate. I just graduated May 26th. And yeah, my life's been going great. So yeah.
That's awesome. How we just graduated, obviously. How has your summer been going so far?
It's okay. I've been going to a forest preserve behind my house, going walking, just biking. It's like a mini Yosemite National Park.
Really?
Yosemite National Park.
Yeah. Have you been to Yosemite?
No, I've actually been to Yellowstone. I actually took a drive. My dad took a drive through. Took a drive through Grand Teton, and during the summer between my sophomore and junior year, I went to Great Smoky Mountains. So I've been to a lot of national parks.
That's really, really cool. Have you, you were talking about Yellowstone. Have you seen the show?
What show?
Yellowstone?
Oh no, I've not even seen this show.
Yeah, I heard it's actually really, really good. Okay,
Yeah.
so I wanna go through your background real quick. I know when I do these podcasts, I like to go through the person's background so we can establish that credibility. You know, I was talking about this a little earlier with him. So, can you kind of like describe your childhood? How was like your upbringing? How was your
My upbringing, well, we're gonna start off with. My parents are not your typical white parents. Like, they emphasize my upbringing. Like whenever I'm being brought up, they want me to study hard. They want me to study. They want me to get good grades. And most importantly, they just want me to be me. Like, just don't give a shit about whoever tells you, like, just be you.
Yeah, I feel that. So they just want you to be like who you are.
Yeah.
They want you to build upon that, right?
Yeah, be a high achiever.
So, were they strict in any way, or was?
Yeah, they were very strict. I can tell you for once, my mom is not very happy when I get bad grades.
Yeah, I know all about that, man, dude. My parents are, kind of similar in that regard. So what kind of things like interested you when you were younger? Whether it's like sports.
What kind of things? Well, I just like playing video games. I like watching movies. But most importantly, I just like doing sports. I just like playing basketball. And I tried out many sports, but third grade through probably sixth grade, I was on a basketball team in Hanover Park. I believe some of the viewers who may be listening to Spotify may know me from those years.
Yeah. So, Hanover Park. I actually live like I don't know if I was talking about this in one of my earlier podcasts, but I live like right on the border of like Hanover Park and Bartlett. So, do you actually live in Hanover Park?
No, I actually live in Bartlett.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, why didn't you go to the Bartlett basketball camp?
Hanover Park just kind of, it was kind of like close to me.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a place where I would go to. That's actually where I go to karate.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so how have like you seen your interests change as you gotten older?
Well, for once, I was kind of during my childhood years. I regret this, but I was slacking off. I was kind of like couch potato. But over the years, I've come to my senses. Probably hey, I should not be the guy I was. Maybe like start building upon myself. Be more interesting. Build a background. Build a history. Like. Because whenever I go on to have children, and I tell them I was a big couch potato, well, what kind of dad I would be?
Dude, I actually love that. That's a good response to that. Honestly, that's kind of how I am. Before, I was just lifting weights and stuff, and I was like, okay, what kind of legacy is that? Why don't I start a podcast?
Yeah.
And then I could get people on like Srivatsan,
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a good mindset to have, to be like, You know, you want to set a good example for your kids in the future, and you know, stuff like that. You know, going back to like school and like your grades and stuff, like who was your favorite teacher in high school?
My favorite teacher in high school. That's actually a pretty hard thing, but Mr. Madsen would be my
Madsen, yeah, okay.
Mr. Madsen, he was my favorite. Well, I mean, I had a few bad ones. Like I wouldn't like.
You're gonna name drop? Don't.
No, I'm not name dropping them, not to like shame them. But Mr. Madsen, he was the guy. Yeah, I like that guy pretty much.
Do you have any like crazy Mr. Madsen stories?
No, but it's just that I like Mr. Madsen in general. Like I never had a crazy Mr. Madsen experience. Well, no, I don't have any Mr. Madsen.
There's like no stories.
No stories. Just like,
okay. So, what was like your favorite high school moment?
My favorite high school moment was when we went to you remember the physics trip and
oh yeah,
Six Flags?
Yeah.
I had a blast there. I wrote the before this high school field trip. I swear to all my stars and all the gods that I was never going to get on the Raging Bull ever again. Fun quick story. Back in 2014, I went to Six Flags, and I was on the Wizard, right?
Yeah.
And it makes you dizzy. If you're on the Wizard, it gets you dizzy as fuck. And I was so dizzy, but I was a little kid, and it was Six Flags. I went on that. I went on Raging Bull, and next thing you know, I was just feeling nauseous and all that shit. Yeah, and it just made my headache 10 times a lot worse. And then I swear to the gods that I was never gonna get on the Raging Bull up until that trip when I rode the Raging Bull 3 times.
Oh.
Yeah.
So do you actually enjoy it now?
I haven't been back to Six Flags ever since that field trip, to be honest.
What would you say is your favorite ride? Or is it the Raging Bull?
I would say the Raging Bull.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah,
that's funny.
like 3 times already.
So it's like a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, love-hate relationship.
Okay, that's funny. That's funny, dude. So what are you gonna what's probably like the thing you're gonna miss most about high school?
The society, the atmosphere, friends, all that stuff. More than just learning, just being together with my friends.
Like all at the same place?
Yeah. The same faces.
You gonna miss like any teachers or like any?
I'm gonna miss. I'm definitely gonna miss Mrs. Hassan. I'm gonna miss her. I'm gonna miss Mr. Madsen. To be honest, I'm going to miss Mr. Keelhack's class because that was in my class. That was a goated class. Me, Yasmin, Ethan, Robbie. They were. I mean, I'm just going to miss those times.
Yeah. No. Yeah. There's a lot of like really good classes.
Yeah.
I know. When me and you were in Hassan's class, that was always a good class.
Yeah, you probably remember the conversation I had.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You would get in deep conversations with Hassan.
Yeah.
It was always real interesting. So you know, like as you've gotten older, you're talking about you played basketball as a kid. And then you talked about a little bit that you got into karate. So when did you get into karate?
I was in 2nd grade when I was in karate.
2nd grade? Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been doing it for quite a long time now.
Really long time, yeah.
So what belt are you right now?
I'm a first Q brown belt. I'm about to get my black belt.
Oh wow!
One step closer to getting my black belt.
That's really cool. So what is there like? What difference in technique have you like noticed as you've like progressed?
So back in the days, I used to be really sloppy. Like my stances, they weren't really that great. And I was throwing punches. They wouldn't even hurt a flea. But after freshman year, it was literally right after freshman year, like during the COVID pandemic, I noticed a change myself, right? And I started like getting like inspiration. Like I just started driving myself into karate. And so yeah, my techniques started getting stronger. I now started having more cleaner techniques.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it that like pushed you to keep going in karate?
Well, number one, I was a brown belt, and number two, the pride of just having be like, oh yeah, I'm a black belt. I can just probably beat up people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it for you? It's like, is it like self-defense or is it more like competition?
It's kind of both.
Kind of both. Okay. What is it that you enjoy the most?
By what?
Karate.
Oh, karate? Well, excuse me. You know, that's really one thing I've not thought of up until now. I would say everything. Like, I really cannot like pinpoint exactly what I can say enjoy. My senseis, they've been phenomenal. Like, they've been helping me. They have a sense of humor to them, but I really like my senseis, and I like the process. I just really like what I'm doing. So yeah.
Has karate gotten you? Do you pay attention to like combat sports like UFC or like wrestling?
No, I'm fortunate not. The only people I know is like John Cena,
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
But probably like they're from mainstream media.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So I actually recommend it because, dude, I've gotten into like watching UFC and stuff like that. Only, Micah, how long? Maybe like a few months ago I got into watching that like almost consistently. I don't remember what the last UFC fight I watched was,
Yeah.
but I remember seeing the John Jones fight, and bro, man, it was like first round submission. Bro, no, you gotta watch those because they're like it'll show you that like even though you have like a karate base, you gotta get some like grappling in there. So I would actually like recommend maybe like jujitsu, maybe a little wrestling, maybe like
Yeah.
but like you do you. So that's kind of like my mentality when it comes to like combat. So what sports do you pay attention to right now?
I pay attention to football. For football and during the World Cup, soccer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So how long have you been into football?
Well, I used to watch Super Bowls when I was a little kid, and probably until 2017 was when I really started watching football.
What part of football like interests you?
The way whenever a player makes a big play, like quarterback just throws a dime to a wide receiver, probably 50, 60 yards, and he goes in for a touchdown. That kind of interests me.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I see that like that's what it honestly for football with me. I think it's like maybe either the tackling or just seeing like those what do they call them, Hail Marys?
Hail Mary, yeah.
Those Hail Marys.
Or I remember this one play when I was watching the Cowboys on a Cowboys game. The punter, he actually faked a kick and actually ran like 78 yards for a touchdown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy. So I don't actually like pay that much attention to football, but like when I do watch it, it's more like that. I just watch it for like that type of
What's
stuff.
your favorite team, if I may ask?
Dude, I don't know. I don't pay attention to football like that, but like if I had to choose, it'd probably just be like the Bears because I live in Chicago. I mean, I live by Chicago, so
Yeah.
I gotta choose a home team. But that's just kind of
Yeah,
how it
that's
is,
just it.
especially around here. So do you plan on like playing sports in the future?
Unfortunately, no.
No?
No.
Okay. So have you thought about it, or is it like?
No, it's not even crossed my mind. I just wanted to do something else. Maybe like into an industry, make money.
Yeah.
And just.
Do you plan on like working out, like staying in shape? Like.
Oh yeah, I do plan on working out. Like
Okay.
just Friday, I had a good jog.
Oh, you did you went
Yeah.
for a jog. How far might I ask?
So I jogged through Mountain Lake Forest Preserve.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
spot. It's not very shady though, right?
I mean,
unless you
on County Farm Road, there's the overpass, right?
Yeah.
Like right from my house, there's an access point. From there, I went to, and from there I jogged over.
I actually know like exactly where you're talking about
Yeah.
because I used to do cross country, so we run like all through that area. So yeah, like it's very, very sunny. There is like one spot of shade that's like in a forest. I don't know. If you know
Yeah,
what I'm talking
just
about.
what, Saturday? I just discovered another part of the trail where it was it was an outlook over Mallard Lake, and it was kind of like pretty serene, to be honest.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of like mini trails that kind of come off.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
But, you know, I want to move into like kind of like your future.
Yeah.
What kind of things what are you planning on studying in college?
I'm currently planning on majoring in data science.
Okay, data science. That's a very competitive field from what I've heard.
Very competitive.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 episodes ago, Arjun and Man? I know that 2 of them are going into that field, and they were talking about how like super competitive it's going to be for them. What college are you going to?
UIC.
Okay, so is that a good college for?
Oh yeah, that's a very good college, and if you're in the Chicago area, it's probably, if you say you're from UIC, like they'll probably people get hired
If you come from UIC.
UIC,
Okay.
DePaul for business.
Okay. Is that why you chose it?
What?
Is that why?
Yeah.
That's why you chose it?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's more closer to the city, and I actually like being in the city in general.
Okay. Yeah, that's is that how do you think you're gonna adjust from living in the suburbs to living in the city? Do you think it's gonna be difficult, or are you gonna be like right at home?
I'm just going to commuting.
You're gonna commute?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not thinking I'm moving to an apartment maybe till I'm in junior year of college.
Okay, so are you gonna take the train?
Yeah, I'm just gonna take the train.
Okay. So what have you thought about like what that would look like? Is that like leaving like at 6 a.m. and then going to the school?
I honestly haven't thought about it because I haven't chose my schedule yet.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that's something that I think about. I'm not really commuting like that, but
yeah.
I think a lot of college kids, like, especially when they're going to college, that's what they think about, is like going to and from school and stuff like that. So what is like why did you choose your data science?
It's a really interesting field. You see, Mrs. Skidmore, many people, if I remember in AP Stats, it was kind of, I'll admit, just like slacking off. Like I wasn't really paying much attention to the lectures, but you know, whenever I did statistics in general, it kind of got me interested. You know, the math. Whenever you solve a problem and you arrive at the answer, like you're just God,
It's hard to put into words.
Yeah, it's hard to put into words. But the sensation when you feel whenever you arrive at the answer, that sensation is unmatched.
So if I may ask, was it like a combination of computer science with Madden and AP statistics with?
Yeah,
okay,
so it was like a love child.
It was both of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So no, I see what you mean there. So what is like your path? So from college, what are you gonna look for after you graduate from college?
I'm probably going to be probably start junior, senior year. I'm going to start interning for a company. So maybe Salesforce. They opened up a headquarters in downtown Chicago.
Wait, what company?
Salesforce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they specialize in this stuff. Maybe I can do that. Probably after college, I'm thinking I'll probably move to Texas.
Oh, Texas. Okay,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, like Texas. Like that's a hot hub for tech right now. If you know what I mean, because you know California, back in the days, California used to be this hot hub for tech, but their corporate taxes are high, like off the charts. Like for a single bedroom apartment, it could cost like millions of dollars in probably like San Francisco or LA. I heard San Francisco was like way expensive, off the charts. But that's what's created Texas an initiative, because in Texas, believe it or not, in the state constitution of Texas, they don't charge any property tax or income tax. It's against their constitution to charge income tax. So from what I put it, so in the CNET video, from CNET video, so if I'm a Google software developer living in San Francisco, I will make $15 an hour. Whereas if I was in that same position, work for the same company, except I'm in Houston, Texas, that number just tripled. I'm talking maybe $100 as my starting salary.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I remember I was doing a project or something. No. Somebody, I don't remember what it was, but I had to choose like 3 states that I would most likely live or something. And I remember, I don't know if I chose Texas, but I know that I chose one with like a very, very low income tax that might have been 0. It was probably just no income.
Yeah, there
tax.
are.
I don't remember which ones there were though. I know that there's a few states out there that's like no income
There's
tax.
Tennessee. There's Florida.
I think it was Tennessee. No, maybe
it was Tennessee. Florida, they have no income taxes, but houses are still. Some areas like houses are still priced up.
Yeah, they kind of got even it out. So
yeah, Washington, they have no income taxes, but the Seattle metropolitan area alone, you're looking at houses that start in the $1 million range.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
No, yeah, when we were in Puerto Rico, we were staying at this resort, and I remember looking at like, they had like a real estate business right there,
Yeah.
right? And just like walking by, I like they have like these posters with like different houses, and bro, there was some going for like $3 million.
$3 million?
Yeah.
US dollars?
Yeah, no, it was crazy. I was like,
$3 million.
I don't even know what $3 million.
Yeah,
house
probably
is.
the taxes might be high in that part.
Yeah, no, that the whole island's like pretty
Not-
expensive, low key. Like it's
Yeah.
pretty crazy. So how are you gonna achieve like your goals, like with your data science and getting
Well,
that internship, and
well-
even after that, like what's the plan, man?
I have not thought about that, to be
Not
honest.
too far?
Not too far. To be honest, I've really not thought about it till now, but now thinking about it, just get a job, do my best at it, and yeah, that's
Okay.
kind of my game plan right now.
So is like I want to ask this: is like your career path? Do you have that like? Is that gonna? Okay, I want to ask this first. Actually, are you planning on having kids, and is this career path going to help to support them?
Yeah, planning on getting married and planning on having kids when I feel it's the right time to have kids. And data science, it like if you're really good at your field, it will support you. But if you're really not good at your field, they'll just kick you out. And if you got nothing else if you got like no degrees, like data science is a really competitive field. Like once the job opening for data science out there, it can be it can just go off. Like the next thing you know, there's someone literally occupying the position. So you gotta have some serious skills when you're entering this industry, or else they'll just bury you under, and you'll be basically relying on food stamps for your day-to-day lives.
Man, yeah, that sounds like that's not something that's good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're planning on having kids. Are you planning on having kids young, or are you planning on having them like
Maybe later in life.
So
Maybe when I'm in my 30s, late 20s, 30s.
Okay, late 20s and 30s. Okay, so that's pretty solid. I can agree with that. So what are you going to like teach your kids similar beliefs? Like what kind of beliefs and values are you going to teach to your kids?
So what I'm going to teach to my kids is that I just want them to have freedom. Just have freedom, because because with freedom comes great responsibility. So because if you do not give them freedom, they're just not going to have responsibility. But when you probably give freedom, like, all right, son, I'm just going to give freedom, and they're like 18 years old, they'll be lost. So probably sort of.
So giving them freedom younger?
Yeah.
Is there like I mean, that's interesting way of looking at that, but is there like a limit, or is there like
There's gotta be limits, because for one, I cannot give all the freedoms, like give the a 5-year-old the freedom to drive a car.
Yeah, no, I
that's
understand,
not
yeah.
that's not that. Or maybe let a little kid like listen to a little kid give me orders. Like I saw videos of that. Like literally, like there was one video I saw where there was this kid. All right, he was demanding shit from his father, and his father was not obliging that. And he just slapped his father.
Oh,
little kid just slapped his father.
So you don't want to be there.
Yeah.
But you also want to give them freedom.
Yeah, you just want to give him freedom.
So
that's gonna be a tough task to do, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about that kind of freedom. You're talking about like that kind of disrespect. Is there any like direction your kids would go? Like,
if we give them freedom, but we just start giving them a little bit of freedom and maybe like enlarge it as they age.
Okay. So you're talking about that. You're gonna be a little strict, is what you're saying.
Yeah, a little strict.
Okay.
A little strict. It doesn't hurt to say no to Snickers bars once.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. So we're talking about your kids. You said you wanted to get married. Around that, I'm assuming around late 20s, early 30s.
Late 20s, yeah.
What kind of characteristics would your future wife have, and would they
she has
share?
to be very caring. She has to be very caring. She cannot be very controlling. She must be willing to negotiate, find common ground, never tear her up, and just agrees.
So tear up, like cry?
No, like tear the family apart, like tear.
Oh,
like
okay.
cause civil
I thought
war.
you said tear up. Okay, so yeah, okay, I see what you mean. So you wouldn't? Does that mean you wouldn't be open to the idea of a divorce?
I haven't really thought about that.
Okay. No, I'm just. I don't know. That's kind of deep. I don't know.
I'm just more like, whatever you want, girl. Like whatever you want, you go for it.
Okay. Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
I don't want to be controlling.
So you don't want to be controlling. You don't want her to be controlling. Okay, I see what you mean. So what kind of do you want her to share similar values, or are you going to teach her values that you have?
I just want to share similar values.
Okay. So can you kind of like elaborate? Like what kind of values would you mean? Would you mean like
resilience, patience, what else? To be honest, I haven't really thought of this, but resilience. That's what I can think of right now.
Okay, so being able to like bounce back and like patience, or you want her to be able to tolerate,
persevere,
to be able to tolerate the kids, and
tolerate
have patience
me,
with the kids, tolerate you, and then perseverance, sticking it through. I see what you mean. Okay. So how are you gonna protect your kids? Because I know like the world's getting a little crazy out there, especially. You're talking about Texas. I don't know how that might be.
Texas,
but how are you gonna protect your kids from like a dangerous world? Is what I'm trying to ask.
So I'm going to tell them what each thing is. Like what is what? Like why do people shoot up schools to this very day? Why do rapes happen? Why do people commit crimes? Why people do the shit they do? This is all that they have the information so that they don't commit the crime.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. So you're telling them that you're telling them why people do all that.
Yeah.
Can you tell us why they do all that?
So, for example, a mass shooter. All right, a mass shooter. There's my mom says, "Oh my God, it's those shooter video games." It's not. All right. If he's going to go shoot up school, that's because he had a difficult upbringing. Maybe because his mom and dad died. The loss of a loved one. Because the loss of a loved one, it's really hard to take on. So if one of us lost our mom and dad, it will probably take a toll on us. And loss of loss of that mother-like figure, just letting her go through, like just mental illness. These signs, they can lead to mental illness, and that's one thing that could cause mass shootings. For example, the Parkland shooting, the shooter Nicholas Cruz. One thing you didn't know about him was that both his mom and dad died. His biological mom and dad died. He was adopted by foster parents. His foster dad died at an early age, and his foster mom died a month or two before the shooting. A year, or I don't know. That's how this goes. And he lost that mother figure. He lost that parent figure in his life. So he started descending to madness. Like, he started searching up stuff like how to become a school shooter. Excuse me. All that stuff. You know, it leads you down this rabbit hole. And so, you know, you got a monster.
Okay.
That could have been prevented.
I want to point something out, because I agree with you to some extent. I will say that. So I'm not saying I completely disagree. But I do think that there is like that's true for some people. I know that for a fact. But some people respond to different things in different ways, because if you think about, you're talking about like a villain archetype where if something bad happens to them, they choose to be bad.
Yeah.
There's also a hero archetype where if something good happens to them, or no, if something bad happens to them, they decide, oh, I'm not going to take my anger out on the world. I'm going to like prevent other bad things from happening.
You know, you're not wrong at all, because there's so many stories like that that played out. But it depends on the atmosphere that you're being raised in. They say that you're a product of where you grew up.
Your environment. Okay, so I also want to point out that, you know, like they talk about one of the biggest factors. I don't know if it's for school shooters, but like if you're gonna grow up and you're gonna be like real fucked up, I think it has to do with, they did studies on this and stuff, but it's one of the best indicators is if you lived with like you were neglected as a child. So if you grew up and you were neglected, you're most, I'm not gonna say you are, but like you're more likely to go to jail. You're more likely to, you know, like
I agree with you 100%.
Stuff, more likely to just like be a bad kid.
Yeah.
So I think it's not entirely like, oh, your parents died, now you're like a really bad fucking person, because I mean it's a blunt way of looking at it. It's kind of naive, but I mean, I'm not saying like anything bad about you, but like I'm just trying to say that like not everybody's gonna respond to the same situation the same way. You know what I mean? Yeah. You kind of get what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
So yeah, we're talking about like big. I asked you how you're gonna protect your kids from the dangerous world. I wanna move on from that, and I wanna say, what do you think is like the biggest threat to our future right now?
The biggest threat to our future, I believe, is anything that can make us disunited.
Okay, so disunification you're talking about.
Disunification.
Do you think, well, can you elaborate on that actually?
So we got multiple parties that are just trying to tear apart society in general. There's one thing that I want my audience to take away from this podcast. It is that divided we fall, united we stand, divided we fall.
Okay.
In fact, back in the early days, whenever Europe was going on a rampage of colonizing nations, one of the things they did was that they allied with certain tribes. Like, for example, when they conquered Mexico, like the Spanish conquest of the Latin Americas, a fun story. I'm pretty sure many Mexicans may have heard of this story, but Hernan Cortez, he was the guy who conquered Mexico. So there was the Aztec Empire was this one sprawling empire in Mexico. They had this Tenochtitlan. It was made on an artificially created island on a lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
All right. Here's the problem: the Aztecs had some tribes that were disillusioned, that were disgruntled with the Aztecs. So what Hernan Cortez did what Cortez did was that he told these tribes to ally with him to take down the Aztec Empire, right?
Okay,
He allied with them. They allied with him. They gave they gave Cortez the conquistadors all the resources they need to take down the Aztec Empire. And so when the Spaniards came in marching like gods, they were like, "Oh my God, well, they're just gods, man! Like this is amazing." So like fuck you. We're just going to take your land. We're just going to raise your people. We're just going to raise. They just raise everything and built Mexico City on top of it. On top of that, eradicate much of the indigenous population with disease.
Okay. So yeah, that's all like, divide and conquer,
Yeah.
like that old proverb. Like they did that in like even India too. With,
Yeah, they did that in
with
India.
the Muslims and the is it the Hindus? I wanna say?
They basically there were people that were fed up with the Mughal Empire.
Okay.
Like there's an evil guy named Aurangzeb,
Oh yeah.
and people were fed up. These Britishes, what they did, that they decided they capitalized the opportunity, like, all right, we'll just ally with these guys. We'll give you guns, ammunition. Go fight your enemies. And
Yeah.
in the end, they end up owning them.
Okay. So you're talking about that. Do you think that I want to talk about now, like current events.
Yeah.
Do you think that like there's a plan to do that now? Do you think like especially with culture, you were talking a little bit about like political parties. Do you think like that?
That's a good way for the democracy in the United States to come crashing down on us. That's a good way for the United States to become a dictatorship, full-fledged dictatorship. So you see, we've never had this sense of disunity. We may have had a disunity, United States, we existed for like 300 years. We may have had some disunity. I'm not going to judge that, but the level of conspiracy theories, the level of camps being created, we never had this at any point of our time in history.
Okay. So I know I was talking to Nathan Reese about this last episode. Do you think that part of that could be with? Do you think part of that could be like contributed to like our foreign adversaries like China or?
Oh
Russia?
yeah, that could be, because the one thing with the United States, it is the foremost superpower in the globe, and the one thing that can make China have its day is when we fall,
And
when
so
we're on our knees.
To do that, we have to be divided.
We have to be divided. Yep.
Okay. So how big of a threat do you think China is?
Well, they are a threat. They are a menace. They're expanding. There's this thing. They're doing something called debt colonialism. Right now, Sri Lanka, the crisis in Sri Lanka, that could be a credit to a debt crisis. This corrupt family that's been running Sri Lanka for years. They were China crooks. They basically bought huge amounts of loans, never managed to pay them back. The same thing with Pakistan. Africa is a vulnerable spot because we're losing our grip on Africa really fast, and that's really what's concerning. But it's not like we're gonna make, if we ever lose Africa, it's gonna mean shit. But like, because anyway, like a civil war rebellion breaks out in Africa like every other month or something.
Yeah. I see what you mean now. Actually.
Yeah. So I don't understand. So if China's going to debt colonize those areas, it's sunken costs.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you mean. We're kind of there for more like ethical reasons, I want to say, kind of. Don't quote me on that. I'm not actually entirely sure. Do you think that China is a bigger threat than Russia, or like?
It's hard to say, but I think China is a bigger threat than Russia.
Okay, I would actually agree with you. Can you give us your reason?
Look at this. Russia has all the military might. They're like the American military of the East. But China, they're taking a new approach. They figured from the lessons of the Cold War, like when the USSR fell, America did not apply a military technique. They just bled the USSR economically, like the Soviet-Afghan War. They dragged that. Operation Cyclone. They just smuggled weapons to Afghanistan, and it ended up being disastrous. The Soviets spent millions and billions of dollars trying to prop up the communist regime in Afghanistan, and they had to pull out and made it a killing field.
Okay.
But that's another story. But what China is doing is a very smart move. They realize you don't have to have a big military might to confront America. You just need to have the mind, like the economic prowess. Because right now, not only America is militarily strong, they're like the economic powerhouse. Like the U.S. dollar is still currently the most traded currency in the world. Like for example, if China were to do trade with Pakistan, that transaction would probably be recorded in U.S. dollars, not Chinese yuan.
Do you think that's going to change?
Well, I would say not, because the U.S. has built a strong brick and mortar foundation. All right. There's been this threat that's been going on. There's been this wildfire that's going on that, BRICS nation, they've introduced this new type of currency. They're just going to topple the U.S. dollar. Here's the fact. The BRICS is not a trading bloc. And let me tell you this. China is not they're not really into conquering the world. They're just trying to
They're more nationalists. They're more for their people. Right?
Yeah, more for the people.
Okay.
They're just trying to be proud.
I never actually thought about it that way. That's actually hella interesting. I want to move on from China because I know China's like a really really big ass topic. So we were talking about China. We were talking about Russia a little bit. Do you think that there's like a big group that kind of controls the world, like a what do they call it now?
That's just bullshit.
Puppet masters,
That's just bullshit. That's
Really?
just bullshit.
You think so?
Yeah, that's bullshit. All right. Look at this. If anyone's controlling anyone, it's either Russia, China, or the United States. In fact, have you heard of Operation Condor?
Oh, I've heard the name.
Yeah, Operation Condor. If your viewers don't know what it is, basically, it was a clandestine CIA operation where the CIA was funneling money into military dictatorship. Like,
Okay.
for example,
Actually, I did hear about
yeah,
that. Yeah, keep talking about it.
For example, in Chile, 1970s, there was this guy named Salvador Allende. He was a Democratic elected president. Here's the problem. He was a communist. He allied with Cuba. And if you know anything, us and Cuba are big no-nos. And we would hate it if we found another communist allied nation in South America. There'll be a big failure of the Monroe Doctrine. And this guy, he was coding up to Cuba and the Soviet Union, and the relations between us and Chile were souring. So what President Richard Nixon did at the time was that he and Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, reached out to these group of army officers within the Chile Armed Forces. One of them was Augusto Pinochet, and told them, if you overthrow the government, we'll give you money, weapons, anything you want. And just like that, in a coup d'etat, they just overthrew Salvador Allende, and that ended up having one of Chile's bloodiest years.
Okay, so what you're kind of explaining is that there's a more private sect. It couldn't have been planned by a greater organization.
No, that's just bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of see what you mean. Yeah. Actually, so do you kind of endorse the idea that kind of the stuff that's going on around right now with whether it be woke culture and stuff like that? Would you blame China, or would you think that that's a more organized attack, or would you say that it's more of a societal movement?
That's a more societal movement, to be honest.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it could be partly attributed to China, because at the end, they just want us to be on our knees.
Okay, so they're kind of feeding the flame.
Kind of.
I see. Okay. I want to move on from there. Do you think we're gonna get into some good shit right now? Do you believe in aliens?
I do.
Okay.
We're The universe is big. It's like really big. And we're like a tiny speck in the universe. So I refuse to believe that we're the only ones of our type. There's gotta be some living species that we didn't know existed that's in some corner of the universe.
Okay. Do you think that aliens have visited us before?
You know, that's not actually far-fetched. To be honest, I kind of buy into some conspiracy theories myself. For example, there's this one conspiracy theory that the pyramids were built by aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this one image where when you go right up when there's a person, say right next to one of those blocks, it's like really huge. So how the fuck are they expecting me to believe that an elephant and wooden cart dragged that block?
Yeah. So we're talking about aliens, right?
Yeah, and in fact, there's a TikTok video that I haven't saved my phone. Yeah, if you want, anytime I can send you the link to it.
Okay.
And if you want.
So after the last episode, I was talking to Nathan Reese a little bit. I don't really. Yeah, no, I don't think this was in the episode or not, but you know, I was talking to him, and he was talking. Do you know Sentinel Island?
Sentinel Island. Oh yeah.
Okay. So with Sentinel Island, it's like this island off of. Do you know where?
I know the entire story of Sentinel Island.
Okay, yeah. Can you kind of explain it, and then I'll try to explain it.
Sentinel Island,
if I can.
Particularly North Sentinel Island, if I'm right. Basically, it's this one island. It's a sovereign territory of India. All right. It's basically cordoned off by the entire world because these natives, they're basically living back basically in the Stone Age. Like no technology, no phone, no Wi-Fi. None of that shit. It's said that they haven't even discovered fire yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the entire island is dark. And they're really hostile to foreigners. Like, if I remember, an American missionary, back in 2004, there was a major tsunami that basically just fucked up the Indian subcontinent. And one of the heavily affected areas was North Sentinel Island. American missionary tried to go there on a goodwill mission to try to help out. He was eventually fucking killed.
Yeah, it was like a ship of like 50 or some people, right?
Yeah.
So this is what he was telling me. He was telling me, yeah, he told me all of that. But he's like, okay, what if we're like the Sentinel Island of like the universe? So like what if like all the other like alien planets and whatever know that we exist, but they know that we're like in the Stone Age to them. So maybe that's why they've never made contact. Have you ever thought about it in that way? Because I think that's hella like interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, there have been some few UFO sightings, but I believe we've been hostile to them, right? They've been recorded.
I'm not entirely sure because I don't know.
I mean, in this case, the reason why Sentinel Island they're secluded off to us, well, why they're secluded off from the rest of the world is because they're hostile. Like if a foreigner tries to step 1 foot, they fucking kill us.
Yeah.
They fucking kill us. They don't know who we are. They don't want to know who we are. So back the fuck off the island.
So do you think it's the same thing with Earth though?
You know what? Maybe we've been hostile, but
we're hostile towards each other.
Yeah, we're hostile towards each other. So that
yeah.
in probably civilization eyes, we're basically a huge rock.
Okay. So we were just talking about the pyramids, and you were talking a little about aliens, but I know that there's like a kind of conspiracy going around about a like previous civilization that was more advanced.
Yeah.
Are you like a proponent of that?
Yeah, definitely. There's in fact there's a TikTok video. It basically goes into all of this. Basically, when you have these pyramids, right? They're constructed all over the place. Here's what you did find out. Most of them follow a similar structural pattern. All right? But we've been told these civilizations had no way of contacting each other. There's no way the Aztecs would have had a method of contacting the ancient Egyptians,
Yeah.
or some the mount like there's a bunch of Indians who constructed mounds here in Ohio. There was no way they would have known a way to contact the Chola kingdom in southern India. There was no way these civilizations may have known each other, but yet these pyramids, they have a similar structure. So it could be possible that these structures, they may have been constructed in a civilization that was known to us. In fact, there's this thing called the Great Reset Theory. Basically, after a few thousand, it basically states that a kind wants to go more powerful than God Himself, like the Almighty Bear Himself. The Almighty will start feeling threatened. So what they do is that they send a comment or something like that can basically explain what happened to the dinosaurs. So it's completely plausible that, besides Earth is like 4 billion years old, and we've been on like, if we were to measure Earth if we were supposed to measure Earth, the life of Earth in time, we've been on it like for like 15 seconds at the most.
Yeah.
15 seconds, maybe a fraction of that. But yeah, it could be possible. Or I'm walking back on this. You know how in tests, when we take tests, there some free response questions, like we write free response or we're bubbly game, we get this almost like identical answers. It could be just that. It could be just that because because tests they corner us off. That probably simulates the environment these guys are in, those ancient civilizations are in. So
okay. I know dude, that's actually like
that's
that's hella deep. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That took me a second. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is like people from different continents, maybe like their environment or something, or maybe like
their environment.
Maybe they shared like similar beliefs, and so maybe that's why they just started building these
it's like
maybe they didn't have to be in contact. It's kind of like evolution. If you think about like different animals being around in different continents, it's kind of like that. I see what you mean. That's actually hella like you went way deeper than I thought.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. So what's like the aside? You already mentioned like 2 or 3 conspiracy theories. What's like the craziest one you've heard?
I've heard that the Illuminatis they run the world. In fact, apparently, Denver International Airport, that's a hotbed for conspiracy activities. If you look at it from Google Maps, it resembles the Nazi swastika. Like, no, you can go search on Google Maps and sort of DIA and look at the runway airport. They say it's supposed to look like a pinwheel design, but if you look at an angle, it does look like a Nazi swastika.
It's a pinwheel. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So people are thinking that it's probably like a coming. Like they believe that there's a Fourth Reich coming. The Fourth Reich is actually like Adolf Hitler has something to do with the Illuminati. Maybe he denied and committed suicide. He along with other top officials faked their deaths and fled to Argentina, which is actually a safe haven for Nazi officials at the time. That's where Adolf Eichmann, he was a prominent Nazi official. He was hiding out in Argentina for a while, and Joseph Mengele, he was the infamous doctor of Auschwitz. He was hiding out in Argentina for a while. But yeah, it said that they were in collusion with the Illuminati. They were planning on something with
the Denver airport.
Yeah, like Denver airport's like a base of operation for a new world order. And to me, I think that's fucked up bullshit.
Okay. So
you know, I kind of buy the idea that there could be that some Nazi officials like fake their deaths, but I'm not sure about the Nazis and the Illuminati.
Okay. What do you think? Okay, so you know I've I've actually heard some stuff about the Denver International Airport. You know about like the horse?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so can you explain the horse?
You're talking about the blue stallion, the blue
Yeah,
horse.
yeah.
So there's really not much about it, but it's this one huge statue that was created by this one artist. He actually died after its head fall off, I believe.
Something like that.
Yeah,
They put it back up.
They put it back up, but they believe like it's a bad omen. And besides, it has like these red glowing eyes.
Yeah,
that's
they
just
gave it
staring at you.
So apparently, in memory of him, they gave it red eyes, like glow, right?
Yeah.
That's so scary. And then also, there's like, if you walk in the airport, apparently,
Yeah.
there's like a ton of just like
Gargoyles.
there's gargoyles
And luggages go missing for no reason.
that's fucking whack, bro.
Yeah.
And there's like posters and stuff. It's
Yeah,
just,
well,
like,
no,
really,
they're
really
just
weird.
fucked up murals. Apparently, there was this one mural of this Nazi stormtrooper being bum rushed by a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
No,
seen
and it's like satanic too.
yeah, they're
There's
pretty
lots of them.
satanic. Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah, there's this one time capsule that they mentioned. It said right there. It said it was donated. It was dedicated by a New World Order Building Commission, something like that. Yeah,
That's
it's-
weird.
Yeah, there's no company that goes by the name of it. That's the fucked up part.
That's weird.
And it has a Freemason symbol on it too. That's so fucked up. But yeah,
Okay, so we're talking about the craziest conspiracy theory that you've heard, but I know like part of you doesn't really believe that because you kind of said that, right?
yeah.
Okay, so what's the craziest conspiracy theory that you actually do believe?
One of the crazy conspiracy theories that the pyramids were probably constructed by the aliens. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way.
You actually believe it? Okay.
There's no fucking way. Like no, that I kind of some part of me buys into that thing. Some part of me buys into that thing.
So are you more of a, okay, so are you more of a proponent of the aliens built it, or are you more of a proponent of like a past civilization did it and they got wiped out?
maybe a past civilization. Maybe past civilization.
So you believe that one more?
That one more, yeah.
That one's you would say is the craziest conspiracy theory?
That's pretty plausible because Earth's been around 4 billion years. It could be we've been on Earth for like 155,000 years. That's like a small fraction compared to how long this Earth has been existing, and how long life has been existing on Earth. So it is completely possible that another civilization before us has existed, and I'm pretty damn sure that it was what it was.
Okay.
But some part of me still believes that aliens did believe that, but I do not. I'm still not like over that.
Okay. With the pyramids, besides the pyramids, actually, what do you think of like Easter Island or like Stonehenge or like stuff like that?
I really do not know.
Yeah, it's kind of like a outside topic. That's like, why does that exist?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, it's like
I don't get it. It's just like somebody was like playing with toys and then they left them on Earth.
Yeah, like there's literally. Yeah, like we know shit about who created these. Like,
See, the thing is with the Great Pyramid, right?
yeah.
At least we know that it was Egyptian.
Yeah, it was
Like we
Egyptian.
know, like you there's tunnels in there, and you can see like Egyptian.
There's
like,
hieroglyphs.
Yeah, but with like Easter Island, it's just like
There's no fucking
it's just
scripts.
it's just a bunch of fucking heads, bro.
There's no fucking scripts. There's no engravings.
There's nothing. It doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense, bro. Yeah, I don't understand that. And same with Stonehenge. It's just like a bunch of rocks.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of people who we do not know, like what we do not know, there's a temple in India. I've actually been to it.
Dude, I think I like just heard about this. I think. Can you explain it? Because I don't know if it's the same thing.
No, wait. I think at the place right now.
Like that they uncovered it.
No.
No.
There's no temple. Like, what is that? Oh god. There's a temple in this place. Please. There's a temple in this place. The name is probably quite hard to pronounce, but there's a temple in this town in India named Tiruvarur. There's this town in India named Tiruvarur. You probably do not know what, you probably will have a hard time pronouncing it, but it's probably you've not heard of it. So what my mom told, there's this temple there, all right? There's this huge ass temple, and here's a fact: no one knows who built the temple. No one knows who built the temple. So what they did was that they created a story. Basically, a local king there was like, "Hey, I have this huge piece of land, all right, and I just don't know what to do with it." So apparently he contacted ghosts, and he told them, "You have from the sun goes down, from sundown to daybreak, to construct a temple, to construct something for me." And so what they did was that they constructed this place, and it looks, the one weird thing is that there are towers at each end, right, at this temple. They're like pretty short. They're like really short compared to other towers. It was said that they broke and they were not complete. So they just like gave the finishing touches and just vanished in thin air. It's just a legend, but no one knows who constructed the temple. There are like a bunch of inscriptions on the wall, like old Tamil script. Old Tamil script. Yeah. No, but people have not. But that'll take ages to read, and you have to have a good understanding of the Tamil language.
Have you heard about that one book?
What book?
It's got like a something manuscript. I don't know.
Oh, wait. It's in the Hindu religion where it's a book about how to have sex or some shit like that.
No, not that book. No, but I know what you're talking. Well, I'm not gonna say I know what you're talking about, but yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, I never heard of that until like. I never heard of that until like Eddie brought it up on the field trip last year.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
Man. No. What's it called again?
I don't know, but to be honest, I never even knew such a book existed up until that field trip last year. You remember the field trip when we're taking to
Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago. Yeah, I never knew about that until Eddie told me about it.
Yeah. No, I was thinking, I really gotta like research it. But there's this one book that I don't know who found it, and it's just got like this language that nobody's ever seen ever.
Really?
Like in history, and it's got like stuff on like botany, and it's got a bunch of people like that just don't make sense. And it's just a bunch of like things that nobody's ever seen. Yeah. I forgot what it's called. Somebody go like Google that or some shit, but it's called something manuscript. It's got a real weird name, and no, they've been trying to crack the code for like years and years, and they just can't figure it out. And it's like terrifying, bro. Like if you look at it, bro, especially if you're like late at night, it's like TikTok, and they got like that spooky ass music, and it's just like. You're just like you're looking at that TikTok.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
You see that language.
Yeah.
You're like, how does that exist?
Yeah, no. I just see what you mean, right?
You know, like I had like this weird thing where like I don't know, when we die, I just have like this thing where like I just hope that like stuff like that just gets explained. Cause I don't want to die not know. Like if I die, I can die not knowing, but I want to know. Like
something that scares the fuck out of me is death. Something that scares the fuck out of me is death, because I don't know how if it's going to be painful or if I'm ever going to feel death.
I'm not entirely clear on your religion. But yeah, in my religion, I just really hope that like
in my religion. They say that you have 7 lives.
Okay.
You get reincarnated after every life. And there's this caste system. The past deeds that you do, karma. Your future life will determine by your past lives. If you say did bad deeds, you're going to be born as an animal, an undesirable animal.
Okay.
But if you did good deeds, you're going born as a Brahmin. That's like the highest respect.
Okay. So in your past life, you must have been doing pretty good because you ended up as like Srivatsan. Actually, that's actually hella interesting. I've never because I'm Christian.
Yeah.
I have friends that have like similar faiths to you, where I don't know, it really really interests me.
Yeah, reincarnation.
Cause wait, are you vegetarian?
I'm vegetarian. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I heard that's because part of your belief is that someday maybe you can be reincarnated as like a plant.
Just don't.
So
my
that's
mom says that these animals, she feels sorry for these animals. Part of that, and one thing among the Hinduism caste is that we're forbidden to eat beef at all because it's killing a cow and eating is like killing your mother in our religion.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah, that's what my mom told me.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've had conversations like that, and it's the same thing with dude. No, I used to ask a lot of questions. I don't know how, if I was ignorant or something, but I'd ask you're vegetarian, right?
I'm vegetarian.
What about killing bugs? Can you kill bugs? And I'd ask stuff like that. And
I kill bugs.
You still kill bugs?
And to be honest, I'm going to give you guys a thing. I broke that rule about non-vegetarian. I ate meat before. I've eaten meat 10 times in my life, probably.
10? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not. I don't know.
I've broken that rule. Yeah.
Okay. So it's if you eat cow, it's like killing your mother. It's
killing
not
your mother.
What about if you're killing the cow? Is that different?
It's still the same thing.
Okay, so it's the same exact thing. It's not worse.
You're still killing your mother. Either way.
Okay, damn, that's crazy. That's real crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up. We started off, we were talking about your childhood a little bit. We were talking about your interest in karate, the things that interested you. We talked about your career path. You're going into data science, and we talked a little about what you want your future family to be like. And then after that, we kind of went into a little bit about China, a little bit about our culture, and then we just went straight into it. We talked about aliens. We talked about past societies. We talked about pyramids and talked about all this stuff, dude.
Yeah.
I think that was awesome, bro.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure having you on, man.
It's been a real pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, pal.
On this beautiful evening.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Gold Swell Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to drop a like. And if you plan on listening to any future episodes, make sure to subscribe and click that notification button.